more on the political fallout, let's turn to our own political analyst, Richard Wolff, author, of course, of Renegade, The Making of a President. Richard, good evening.
Good evening, Keith.
The seeming disconnect, the president saying tonight he wants to work with Congress to overturn this Defense of Marriage Act, as it has been titled, even though that probably doesn't really describe what it does. And last week, the Justice Department filed with the Supreme Court a brief asking SCOTUS to not overturn DOMA. I'm missing something. What am I missing?
Well, you're missing some politics and some legalese. I mean, there is a legal point here, which is that the Justice Department does uphold the laws. They don't have to do it in the way they did, even though they had to write a brief. The tone of the brief was understandably insulting to many people in the community. So that's one piece of it. On the other hand, his statements, the president's statements on overturning DOMA, for want of a better word, is real. It does require Congress to take steps. The question, as many people in the community are asking, is when? And that's where the politics comes in. Why not now?
Joe Salmanese is a statesman and also a very adept politician.
Clearly.
He seemed to be trying to keep one foot on either side of this fence here. To what degree was this a mistake or a series of errors on the part of the White House in the last couple of days, and was this influenced by this DNC fundraiser that was supposedly involving so many significant figures from the LGBT community, which obviously was not happy about this briefing regarding the Supreme Court and DOMA?
Right. Well, the White House insists that it doesn't pay any attention to the kind of lobbying that goes on in the interest groups. In fact, they have a conscience, and they are especially vulnerable to pressure when that pressure says, hey, remember how you spoke in the campaign. Now, there is a warning sign. There was a warning sign, I think, in the campaign that this was a candidate who did not explicitly and repeatedly did not support same-sex marriage. So, you know, for anyone who was just listening to the stuff about DOMA and sort of ignoring other stuff, then maybe they were listening, they were hearing what they wanted to hear. So maybe this isn't the first priority, but holding them to the language and the principles, I think, is effective with this White House, no matter how much they protest.
Certainly there's a difference, though, between actively supporting same-sex marriage and filing a brief on behalf of retaining this thing that is seen to be a club against any chance of that. It's not just you're no longer supporting, you're actively opposing.
Right, and that's why it's going to be important for people who are allied with this White House, because they have the ear of the White House, to say, hey, you did make that public statement that you were going to work with Congress to repeal this, and you promised it on the campaign trail, so hold true to it.
What happened to Don't Ask, Don't Tell?
They kicked it down the road. Look, a part of this is because they want to avoid the problems that Bill Clinton had. I mean, that's, to be honest, if Bush came in saying anything but Clinton, well, so is this White House. And expending political capital on this cultural issue for them right now is not what they want to do. Now, that's politics. The question, again, is how do they compromise the politics with the principle? When do they do it? Is this going to be kicked all the way down the road into a potential second term? I mean, that's why the activists need to keep on their message and keep on this White House.
The nature of the message today, a memo, a mere request, not an executive order. Can't you or I file a request, a memo to the OPM director?
Yes, you could. We could. And if for a president who is spending several $100 billion on various pieces of the economy, he has the power to move things along at the pace he wants to.
Well, then that, to me, is a mystery by itself. But Richard Wolff of MSNBC, author of Renegade, just out now. Thanks again for your time. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you, Keith.